This video is going to give you a third example of using the COUNTIF and the SUMIFs. In this example, we have a database of various tea manufacturers. They have 3 products: Wild Berry Tea, Lively Lemon Tea, and Duke Grey Tea, and we have them in months. And in regions, we have the invoice number and we have their revenue. I did create a variety of range names. I use the T prefix, so T month, and you can see this does get pretty long. So again, the benefit of naming your ranges is it's easier to pick out a name than it is to have to go and swipe through your range. So we're going to get right to it. We have we're going to do count and we're going to do sum. We have some criteria. One of them is going to be just a simple count, just a singular criteria for both count and sum for West, the region. The next one will be product, and then we have multiples for month and region. So let's start with count. So equal COUNTIF. Again, we have 2 arguments for this. We have the range, meaning I'm going to look for the value West, that's the criteria, in the region. So we'll do T region. The reason I did the prefix is I did a previous video using the medical database, so to make it a little easier to work with. So I will tab for it, and then I hit the comma, and then it wants to know the criteria. This is where we could type in if you wanted to, West. But then if you wanted to change this to any of the other regions, you would have to go and edit this this function. So we'll just wipe over it, and then we'll just click on H4. Both are correct. It just depends on how often you're going to make changes. So we will hit enter, and there are 17 products for the West. Each of the months, we go January through May, and then the location. We can do the next one. Again, we're going to do the same thing, COUNTIF. Find the list, hit tab. So the range here is going to be the actual product. So it'll be T product. It is a good idea to provide prefixes because remember, when you create a range name, it has to be unique. So if I had other range names named product, I can only use that once. So by using somewhat of the worksheet name, then I can actually get around that and use the word product with that prefix. So I just did the range. Now it wants the criteria. So this is, what am I looking for? The range is, where am I looking for? And the criteria is what I'm looking for. And again, we're going to type in or the cell H5. You can type it in, click on it. Or again, you could do the double quotes and type in Wild Berry Tea. Now, when you have long product names like this, it's very easy to make a mistake in spelling. So you do want to be careful there. Okay, so we hit enter, and there are 24 of these. So now we can go to the sum, and here we want to sum the revenue that went to the West. So we'll type in equal SUMIF, and the first 2 parts are similar to the count. We have a range, meaning where am I going to look for the criteria, and of course the criteria. So the range in this instance is going to be region because I'm looking for a location. So I can do T, and that's region, and I can tab for it. It's criteria, meaning what am I going to be looking for is West, comma, and now we have a third one. What do we want to sum? So we want to do the revenue, so T, and then you can go down here to revenue. And if we hit enter, we now know what our revenue was for the West. So we can do another one, just another example. Again, SUMIF, just one criteria. This time the range we're looking for will be the product, so T product, comma. Its criteria will be H5. And just like we did with the count, we're just providing the cell address. We could have typed in Wild Berry Tea with double quotes. And we want to do the same thing. We want to calculate the total revenue. So we're going to sum the revenue, and we can hit enter. So again, as we saw, what you saw with the other videos, if you click on a criteria that we've entered, and this is the region, so you can type in north. Upper and lowercase doesn't really matter. We can do east, okay, and we can go back to west. Same thing with product. We could change the name of the product. We can do lively lemon tea. We'll see if I spelled that right. Yep, it changed. Or we could do Duke gray tea. Now you may notice that some of the counts aren't changing because they're really the same product. So if we do wild berry tea, it should go back to 24. So those first four cells, those first four examples, are just a single criteria. Well, now we're going to do multiple criterias. You can have as many as you want. So we'll do equal, count if, count if with an S. So the criteria range first. Doesn't really matter the order you put these in, so we're going to do month. So this would be T month. And what is the criteria? It's June. Now again, notice I separated these, so they're in their own cells. If you had not separated those, then you would have to type in the month. So then we'll do comma. So now we want a second criteria. So this will be T region. And this is going to be, in a sense, its location. So it's going to be south. And so we have just those two criterias. We can hit enter. And you see that there are 3 of those. So we can do the same thing with SUMIF, plural. So sum ifs. The only difference is it puts this, what we're going to actually total up or sum in the beginning. So this will be T rev. Make sure you get the right one. That's what we want to total. And the first criteria is going to be the month. So T month. And its criteria, oops, gotta hit the comma, is G6. And now we are on the second range, and that will be region. So type in the actual range it's going to look for. And then finally, its cell that we're going to go and actually look for. So we're going to look for south. Then we hit enter, and we have 127,462. So if we change these to April, upper and lower case really don't matter. And we do, let's say, east. We can see that those two conditions, April and east, there are 3 of them, and we have a total revenue, of 125,483. So that's a third example of using the summaries.